we're putting up some sauerkraut here. We've got 20 pounds of cabbage that has been fermented for about 3 weeks now. And I'm putting it in these 2-liter mason jar, 2-quart mason jars. Using some tongs. This is the mix. These were nice cabbages from Spencerport. There were 3 heads that weighed about 7 pounds apiece. The cabbage was shredded, and to the cabbage was added in small portions 1% by weight sodium chloride or salt, sea salt, and a couple of packages of culture. Each jar, when filled 2/3 to 3/4 full, holds about 2.5 pounds of sauerkraut. The liquid that's in the bottom there, I'm going to evenly dispense or put back into each jar. I'm going to divide it up about equally. And then I'm going to put these, lids on them and perhaps put them under vacuum. I'll show you that in another clip here. Pack these down firmly. Now this one has almost 3 pounds, 2.9 pounds. It was packed a little deeper than the others. Okay, we've got our sauerkraut, 20 pounds or so, packed up into 6 2-quart mason jars, and there's another partial one here. And there's about 3 cups of brine left, and I'm going to distribute it equally in the 6 containers here. About 1/4 cup in each one to start with, and I'll just go around until they're all finished. Three. I'm going to evacuate these 6 jars, pull a vacuum on them in this chamber here. This is not necessary, but it's fun, and I think it does help. I like the process. I like to put my canning jars under vacuum with the sauerkraut in them, and then if they ferment a little bit more, the tops will dome up, and I'll pull another vacuum on them. or I'll just keep them tamped down and keep them in the refrigerator or out in the garage during the winter time. I'm going to coat the inside of these mason jar lids with just a little bit of silicone grease. A little silicone grease on. There, those are done. And I'm going to put a little grease, silicone grease on this top here, this gasket, to keep a seal as we pull a vacuum in the chamber. And I will put the jars in the chamber and show you what happens as we pull a vacuum. And just a little around this rim here. Place the jars in the vacuum chamber. Put them in there. I think it'll hold, well, I know it'll hold 4. I'm thinking maybe it'll hold 5. No, it'll just hold 4. It'll just hold 4. Okay. Carefully put this on. There we go. Make sure it's seated right. Okay, now I'm going to use a water aspirator to pull a vacuum on this. These are readily obtainable. But you have to do a little fixturing up here to make it work, or to get the hoses connected. There's a vacuum gauge there, but I'm going to. Okay. Now I'm going to open the valve that goes to connects the vacuum tubing to the chamber. And we'll see. This takes maybe 5 minutes or so to totally get down to the vacuum maximum of the water aspirator, and it'll get down to somewhere around 28 or so inches. That's inches of water. And sometimes as this gets evacuated, you could see some bubbles forming in the liquid part of these, but this is pretty much degassed, I think, anyway, but we'll see. Now there, I think I saw some bubbles forming, or gases coming up. There they are. Yeah, there's a few. You can see them there. Now, if that starts to rise up too high and get near the lid, I'll simply stop pulling the vacuum and release the vacuum and let air in, and it will seal these jars. And then if I want, I can break the seal, take them out of here, break the seal, and tamp them down. We can also pull a vacuum using a hand pump and this lid here. These can be ordered online. This is a lot more work, and it's not as efficient as the water aspirator. The water aspirator pulls a higher vacuum. But you can see some bubbles there. And when the vacuum is released, you can see the dome is sealed. Two reasons for getting a vacuum. Okay, we're down to between 25 and 30 inches of water here in the vacuum. So I'm going to release this vacuum. I'm going to turn off the water aspirator, disconnect it, turn that off. I'm going to let air into the chamber, so these should seal then. Let's see if they did. Yes, they're all sealed. These bands I just put on loosely, but it's probably the first time they didn't seal when I didn't have the bands on, and anyway, with the bands on, they did seal this time. So maybe the bands are important to have on there. Maybe they hold the discs down a little bit while the vacuum is being released. And there we are with our 20 pounds of sauerkraut, all bottled up nicely, under vacuum. There it is in a dish, and it is delicious.